Hey guys, Brett Alegre-Wood, author of the best-selling book, The 3+1 Plan, and chairman of YPC Group. Today I want to cover how can we get the discounts that we do get from developers in working with new build. So I want to coming over to the discounts now. How do we get the discounts? Look, I'll bring it down to the three key factors, okay? And this makes it really simple. Why can we get discounts where you as an individual can't? Well, quite simply because we're buying in bulk. So it's not a case of us just going and negotiating one property or two properties. We're buying 5, 10, a whole block or a whole development, okay? So that bulk aspect gives us the ability to drop the price or to bring the price down. The other side is a relationship. A lot of these developers I've been working with for 7, 8, 10 years. I know them, we've been to lunch, we've been drinks, we've been, and maybe not so much now do I go out drinking or things like that with them because, we're a little bit older now, we've got 10 years, and now a lot of those people that I knew previously have moved up into management positions, they've got kids, all that, but the fact is that relationship's built. It's not something you can just walk in and say, give me a discount. Whereas I can probably, maybe not walk in and say, give me a discount, but I can certainly use that relationship to get the foot in the door. And certainly when you add the bulk and the other aspect, which is the speed, okay? And what this means is effectively we can get things done a lot quicker. If it's you having to go out and find your own mortgage, find your own solicitor, that can, and not really understanding the process, that can make the process longer. Whereas because these developers know they're working with a company like YPC, what happens is they know that we can get stuff done quicker because we're managing the process, we're educating you, and we're getting everything in there. Now, let's take a look at, when we talk about how to get discounts, the best way to look at it and view it is a timeline, okay? So if we look at a site, we can start here where the developer buying the land. Now, they may have already bought the land, but let's say they're buying the land, there's an opportunity there, okay? So that's your first opportunity. They're buying the land, they want to get some funding on the land, so then what they'll say is they'll actually say, hey, if you can get some buyers that will commit to exchange, then we can look at doing a discount. So effectively, all this period up to phase 1, this is all what we call off-plan, and even in fact, all the way down to here is off-plan, all right? And then we have the completed stuff, or in Asia you call it TOP, temporary occupation permit, all right, down here. But effectively, first is when they're buying the land. Then we actually have a lot of architects that give us sites on behalf of developers, so they can get rid of 10% of them, they can go to the bank and say, look, 10%'s already exchanged. So there's all these sort of things. Then you come to the funding to build. So the developer now has the land, they've got the architect, they've got the planning, everything's ready to go, let's break dirt, okay? At that point, they say, right, we need some funding. The bank may need another tranche of funding, so they can give us a discount because we're getting in prior to building it, we're getting in phase 1. Then you've got marketing urgency. Now, what happens with a lot of developers is prior to us launching the property, or prior to them launching, say, in wherever it might be, international markets, or it could be in the UK, they'll come on to a company like ours and say, hey Brett, listen, can you sell 20 of these? Because if you can sell 20 of them, we can then say there's 20, 10% sold in one afternoon or one, weekend, because that's the sort of, speed that we can move that with sales. And then they can launch and they can put a big thing saying 10% sold in one weekend, all right? So the marketing urgency we help them out with. Then the other side of it is to meet targets and enhance bonuses. The number of times I've had phone calls saying, Brett, I need a favour. I need to sell 10 of these by the end of the month. Can you do it? And then obviously we negotiate a price because we can move again with speed, all right? So this is where these things come into it because I've got cash buyers with, between all of you guys, the whole lot of you, I can find cash buyers, I can find people to move quickly, I can sell quickly because we've already got that relationship built. And what that does is it allows us to get in there and get discounts, all right? Then you've got unable to complete. So we're now down to number 5 down here. So this is the stuff that's completed. This is no longer off plan, this is completed stuff. And what we're talking about here is the number of people that buy a property speculating, effectively, where they buy it, they expect it to go up, and then they want to actually get rid of it before completion. Then what happens is, for whatever reason, they don't sell it, they don't get the price they want, and they are unable to complete because perhaps they didn't have the money or whatever, change of circumstances. Then what will happen is a developer will come along and say, Brett, I had an exchange on this, can you get rid of it quickly because I want it in for my numbers so I can get my bonuses and meet my targets, okay, for a specific date. That's another opportunity for us. And the final opportunity is the quick exit, okay? And that means we're right down at the end. It's coming to the stage where they want to get off site. It's the last few apartments, and what they'll do is they'll say, Brett, listen, I've got 10 more of these to get rid of. Once I get rid of 10, I can shut up shop, shut up the display home, or whatever, and I can get off site and move to the next one. So obviously, negotiation, we can do that. So guys, that gives you sort of a really good idea about where we get the discounts and why we get them. Look, bulk, relationship, speed. They're the three key concepts and the three key things that we can offer that you as an individual can't necessarily offer, okay? And look, we've been doing this a long time, so a lot of these relationships, we go back to the same developers doing the same, similar deals over and over and over again, okay? Because they know us, that relationship's built. Plus they know we operate with speed, and that's why sometimes you're going to find that actually things move pretty quickly when you buy a property. Why? Because that developer will have deadlines, and the reason they're giving the discount is because they want us to meet deadlines. So guys, hopefully that gives you a really good idea, and you can see just why we can get the discounts and why we're so focused on new build. Because at the end of the day, that's the business decision that I've made. I think it's easier, and I tell you, the stress is out of my life a lot since I've done that, and it'll be out of the investor's life too, and out of your life, because you won't have those hassles. Okay guys, have a great day, and remember, live with passion.